At every crossroad in my life where I had to choose between something that would make me happy and something that would bring me stability, I always chose stability. And I think that's why I've never fully pursued art. But last year, I was laid off again. I finished grad school in 2020, so my entire career has been during times of unprecedented uncertainty, and I have been laid off from all but one job that I've had as an adult. This is probably relatable to a lot of people in my generation, but I definitely think I bought into an idea of stability that just might not exist anymore. For my parents' generation, higher education and a traditional career was a path to guaranteed lifelong prosperity, but that definitely hasn't been my experience. And to be frank, it's really taken a toll on me to have to look for a new job every couple of years, and I'm wondering how many times I can do this again before it's really gonna break me. The idea of being a full-time artist obviously scares me. Not having health insurance, not knowing how much money I'm gonna bring in every month, knowing that even if I became successful, it could all go away in a second. All of that is terrifying. However, those fears were already realized when I was laid off. So at this point, it doesn't really feel any more risky to pursue art than it does to get another 9 to 5. I have daydreamed about being an artist since I was a kid. I've always told myself that it was somewhere in between unrealistic and impossible, but I will never know until I actually give it my all. So let's talk through where I'm at now and my plan to make a full-time income as a full-time artist for the first time in 2025. If you'd like to follow my progress, feel free to subscribe to this channel. I will be posting monthly to update you all on my progress and to check in on the goals that I set for myself. Let's start with where I'm at. So I launched my online art business, Green Velvet Creative, in May of 2024. In the beginning, I was very convinced that nobody would buy prints of my artwork. I was convinced that nobody would buy my art unless it was printed on something that they already wanted. So when I started out, all that I had posted was shirts, sweatshirts, glasses, mugs, hats, and then the closest thing that I had to print was tea towels, all with my art printed on it. By the end of the month, I had made 17 sales, which was huge for me. In June, I focused heavily on social media, and not only did it tank my sales, it also tanked my motivation and my creative habits. I had big plans to turn things around in July. I launched my print collection, I started email marketing, and then halfway through July, I was laid off from my job. To say that I put Green Velvet on the back burner, I think is a little bit of an understatement. I think I more realistically just took it off of the stove altogether. I found a new job the week after I was laid off, but it required me to move myself and my family to another state. So we had to quickly find someone to take over our lease, find a new house, pack up our entire lives, move states, and I started this new job, which I have since resigned from. At the current moment, I haven't posted on my art social media for 6 months. Other than the automated email that you get when you sign up for my email list, I have not sent out an email newsletter. And I actually took my website down right when I became unemployed because I wanted to avoid getting charged. I kind of expected this to be the end of Green Velvet, or to at least have to take a year-long break while I got settled. But shockingly, I ended 2024 with, I believe, 64 orders and $3,192 in sales. 46 of those orders were during the period where I wasn't marketing at all. I'm actually blown away by these numbers, especially because I did not put the effort or attention into this business that I planned to or wanted to. It does at least give me hope that now that I have the time and attention to give this business, that I can create something sustainable. Because I abandoned my marketing essentially a month in, and because I plan to kind of scrap my original collection, I do think I'm pretty much starting at square one again. However, having these 9 months in business under my belt did give me 3 things that I think are going to be really valuable in creating kind of a solid foundation for what I do next. And that is experience, data, and feedback. So I'm not starting at square one, I'm maybe starting at square two. So let's talk about what I learned from those 3 things. I am a big believer that there is no greater teacher than experience. Like I said, I've wanted to be an artist since I was a kid, so I have spent years planning and researching and dreaming, but no amount of preparation could have taught me what experience has. If you're watching this video because you're considering starting an art business, my advice to you is to just start. Even if you're starting small, even if you don't keep it going, you're gonna learn so much by experiencing it for yourself and learning what feels right for you. Okay, let's get into numbers. We'll start with my website because that one definitely fizzled out the quickest and also had less to do with my marketing efforts and more to do with just knowing really incredible and supportive people. My friends and family knew about Green Velvet before I publicly said anything about it. So I actually got 12 orders before I had launched anything officially. And then in July, when I lost my job, my sweet, sweet boyfriend secretly sent out my website link when he told everybody that I lost my job, and just, let them know that if they want to support me, this was a good way to do it. So I did get 3 more orders from that. The only order that I got from a stranger was actually during the time period that I thought my website was down. I took my website link off of basically everything once I took a step back, but I didn't realize that I had Google product listings active. So I did get some traffic from that. I got 96 clicks from organic Google search and then 43 clicks on Google product listings. And I did get 1 sale from those clicks. My site is not at all search optimized, and I stopped linking to it very quickly. So that's definitely something that I want to focus on next year, is driving traffic to my website again. In general, it's tough to build brand recognition on Etsy. If people buy from you and someone asks them where they got that, they're typically not saying your name. They're saying they got it from Etsy. I also think that platform is full of a lot of people who are price shopping and don't necessarily value your work or you as an individual artist. And since there's so many people on there now who are just making shit with AI, there's always someone who can do what you do, but cheaper. Looking at where my sales came from, as you can see, most people just bought directly from a link that was sent to them. And the rest of my sales either came from Instagram or Facebook, and those were still people that I knew. And then, like I said, I got that 1 sale from Google, and then I bought a sticker myself just to make sure that it worked. So in total, I made $656, and that accounted for 21% of my total revenue for 2024. Moving on to Etsy, my Etsy has technically been active since March, but at that point I had 1 product listing and I bought it myself just to see how everything worked. And then in April, my mom bought something. So in May, when I officially started, I launched about 15 products. It was the same shirts, sweatshirts, glasses that I had on my website. I turned Etsy ads on at the end of May, or I got 1 order from ads and then 4 orders total for the month. In June and July, I turned off ads because I planned to just use organic marketing channels to see if I could get any sales from that. That obviously didn't work. And then in early July, I launched my print collection and turned ads back on before essentially abandoning and forgetting about everything. And that is when orders really started to roll in. Throughout that time, I also started kind of listing random art that I was finishing on the weekends while I was working at my job, just to kind of test things out and see if there was anything that could gain traction. And shockingly, a couple did. So during this period, I was spending $2 a day on Etsy ads across all of my platforms, which is to say I really did not have an ad strategy at all. They were kind of just on because I forgot to turn them off. So I got 6 orders in August, 2 in September, 5 in October, 8 in November, and 12 so far in December. I'm sure this will go back down now that the holidays are over, but it was nice to see this kind of ramp up, and it did give me hope for what I could achieve on this platform. So in total, I made $1,746, which accounted for 55% of my revenue in 2024. TikTok Shop is something that I did not even think that I had successfully set up. I still get emails from them basically once a day reminding me to set my shop up. I didn't, however, get any notification from them that I got an order from it. So in October, when I had gotten that random order on my website, I logged into my production partner website just to make sure that everything was shipping okay. And I saw that I had another active order from TikTok Shop. Sure enough, logged into Seller Center and saw that someone had ordered these glasses for $20. I don't know how that platform works. I don't think I ever got paid for that. I literally didn't even know that I set it up successfully. Don't know how this person found me. I haven't posted on TikTok for 6 months. But I'm counting it. Maybe it's something that I'll put more effort into next year. Anyway, made $20, counted for 0.63% of my revenue in 2024. And then lastly, I did do 2 freelance illustration jobs, one for a country club, one for an agency, just for privacy purposes. I'm not going to go into detail about those, but I did make $770 off of those 2 illustrations. So that accounted for 24% of my 2024 revenue. The biggest thing I gained in 2024 was just the ability to test things and get feedback while I was still at a job making a steady income. Like I said, I listed a lot of different stuff on Etsy. I was just kind of throwing spaghetti at the wall and see what stuck, but luckily a couple things did stick. And they were the 2 things that I was really excited about, and the 2 things that felt kind of most authentic to the type of art that I like to make. So that's definitely something that I'm going to be leaning into in 2025. Despite my belief that nobody would buy my art unless it was printed on something that they already wanted, out of my 39 Etsy orders, 26 were prints. So that was pretty cool to see. There were 2 listings that outperformed everything else by a long shot. And luckily they were 2 things that I was really excited about and 2 things that had a lot of overlap. So I think I've learned that that is what works for me. The first was this pet portrait. This was part of an idea that I had fully developed but didn't actually list. The idea was to have these gallery wall sets that were all antique inspired but had kind of different inspiration style behind them, almost as if you found them at different antique shops. This Delft one was my favorite. I like doing these kind of intricate, more stylized pen and ink drawing, and I had a feeling it would be a little more successful because A, it stands out from what other people are doing, and B, it was a little more stylized than the other versions I had that were more just kind of simple sketches. And then my best listing by far was this print. This was actually the first thing that I drew as Green Velvet. This kind of storybook illustration, book plate, Victorian engraving style was the inspiration for the whole Fable collection. So the fact that this was my bestseller really validated that I needed to just lean into my style and make the art that I planned on making in the first place. This is what I draw for fun. I'm not concerned about marketability or what would look good on products or whatever. I really lean into this kind of antique engraving style. When I'm just like out at a coffee shop or drawing for fun, this is the type of stuff that I draw. I'm really excited that this type of work resonated with people. And like I said, it's definitely what I want to lean into in 2025. Which brings me to my next section, my plan for 2025. So let's start with my overall goals. So my goal is to make a living wage off of just selling my art by the end of the year. Ideally, it would be great to make what I was making my last job, which was $80,000. However, my goal is to just make a living wage. So my plan is to make $48,000 in profit by the end of the year. I want to set smaller goals that I can check in with every month, just to hold myself accountable. I'm really trying to set goals that 100% have to do with my actions and behavior. It's really tough to hold yourself to goals that depend on other people's actions because no matter what I do, I have no control over other people's actions. So the things that I'm actually going to be holding myself accountable to are all things that I can do. And then I'll also set benchmarks, milestones, I guess, that have to do with other people's behavior. So my goals are be consistent with YouTube, uploading 3 times a month, send monthly email newsletters, monitor data and optimize monthly, but actually give every marketing tactic time to work rather than turning things on and off monthly like I was doing last year. Continue creating new art, listing 1 new print a month. Prioritize commissions, promoting those at least 5 times a month. Be consistent with outreach. Take care of my physical and mental health, taking 1 day off a week. Connect with my community more. Post 3 times a week on Instagram, TikTok, and Pinterest. And then stay focused and don't start new ideas until I reach my goals. And then the milestones that I will be tracking my progress toward are consistently sell 10 to 15 commissions per month, consistently sell 30 to 50 prints per month, reach YouTube monetization criteria, consistently make 30 to 50 Etsy sales per month, sell prints in 3 to 5 physical locations, and then meet my monthly income goals. So my to-do list for January that I will be checking in with you all to hold myself accountable on at the end of January is make a new website that's focused on commissions primarily and print secondarily, finish this pen and ink collection, set up my new marketing tactics, update any third-party catalogs like my Google listings, TikTok, Pinterest, all the things that I forgot that I set up in the first place. Reach out to local businesses to see if they will carry my prints or stickers or business cards. Build up a content library so that social media doesn't feel so overwhelming and all-consuming. And then pre-write and templatize my email newsletter. Lastly, my income plan. So I went through and priced all of my items, calculated how much I spend to produce and ship each one, and then how much profit I'm left with at the end. And then I predicted how many of each item I think I could realistically sell in a month. So I predicted that I could sell 10 of each print size, 10 small commissions, 5 medium commissions, maybe 1 or 2 larger commissions. And then for the items that I plan to put on my Etsy, I predicted that I could sell maybe 1 to 5 of each of those, just because they really haven't sold well in the past. So with those calculations, I would be making $6,326 in profit each month, with $5,393 coming from prints and commissions. I also would love for my YouTube to be monetized at some point, but I have a long way to go to reach that. So I don't plan to be making this amount starting in January, like right out the gate. I predicted that I would make maybe $1,000 during my first month, and then hopefully start reaching my income goals around May. Based on these calculations, I would end the year with about $60,410 in profit, with about 80% coming from prints and commissions, 15% coming from Etsy, and then 1 to 2% coming from TikTok, YouTube, and Patreon. Who knows what this year will bring, but I do think with some consistency, I can grow this into something sustainable. So I hope that you will join me for whatever this journey brings. Thank you for being here.